Always wanted to touch the red carpet. Welcome. Welcome, you explorers, you stargazers, fellow stargazers, you wanderers of place, you personal space rebels, you double-take lookers. I saw you. You provoked curiosity, you. Welcome. Welcome, you question normality anarchists. You kiss me again, please kiss me again, demanders of attention. Demanders of attention, welcome, you revolutionaries of spray can-soaked streets. You body graffiti supposed freaks with something to say. Something to say. Hey, do you have something to say? You caught-looking, tongue-tied geek who has a crush on you. You hair flip, you popped collar, you wink and smile. Who, me? Yes, you. You caught-looking, wide-eyed gaze, and you. You bash-filled teenage stage. Welcome. Welcome, you sweaty palms, pulse bomb sons, you dirt-on-dress smirking daughters. You walk down the railroad track tempters. You born-again street-crossing children. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Welcome, you... Who do I see here? Ooh. Welcome, you feel good booty butt shakers. I see you. Welcome, you 3, 4, 5 a.m. should be asleep by nowers. Welcome, you toss and turners, toss and turn, push and pull, push and pullers of blankets, you hoggers. Hold me tight, tighter, as tight as books hold their marks, as close as the big spoon moon holds dark. Welcome, you, and those who aren't. Welcome. Before I get started, thank you. Before I get started, or continue, more like, I have to recognize, honor, claim those who are with me on this stage. Not like multiple personalities stuff or like ghosts or anything, but the people that have brought me here to this moment, who have helped raise me. My father, Baltasar Espinoza-Cortez, my mother, Dora Elena Espinoza-Gonzalez, my sister, Brenda Elizabeth Espinoza-Gonzalez, my dog, Blue, my boy Blue Espinoza-Gonzalez, my nephew, Pedro Baltasar Martinez Espinoza, PB for short, not peanut butter. They have affected my story in a huge way, in a way that I can't even fathom how to thank them for it. My dog doesn't even know how. I give him a Scooby snack or something. But they have affected my story, which seems to be a reoccurring theme throughout these speakers, these presentations, stories. The importance of stories. It must be needed or desired, wanted, asked for. This desire to learn more, to come together through stories. Take a moment to just look around you at the people sitting next to you, behind you, in front of you, that surround you. Now, imagine a library, your favorite library, filled with books upon books, stories upon stories, knowledge at your fingertips. What if we saw people this way? Knowledge in front of us, at our fingertips, able to be cracked open if they allow us to. If they allow us to. What if we saw people that way? Now, I didn't always see people this way. This is my nephew, PB. Once again, not peanut butter. Pedro Baltasar. He is learning to write his name. He's in Fairhaven College, where I've learned so much, and he's writing on a whiteboard. He has dramatically affected my life. Sorry. He turned 5 just a couple weeks ago. Turned 5. His birthday was May 18th, 2008. 2008 was quite the year for me. A lot of events happened, some great, like my nephew, his birth. I remember where it was when I received the phone call from my father. It meant the world to me that he was born. Some not so great. I went from being on top of the world towards the end of my senior year of high school down to the lowest point I've ever been in my life when I got here to Western. Not because of Western, but when I got here. Experiences, stories that have happened to me. All I will say about that is I gained a consciousness, an awareness of life's harsh realities that exist outside my own mind. And it was hard for me to face them because before that, rainbows and butterflies, unicorns, Hershey's Kisses in my brain, floating around. If I got knocked unconscious, not Tweety Birds, Hershey's Kisses, chocolate, give me those. That was my brain, but certain events in my life shifted it. Shifted what floated, what circulated around my head. I gained a consciousness outside of my own, a recognition of others and their pain. With this newfound consciousness and awareness, like I said, I got to see a lot of the dark side of this world. And some things, they get me worried for the future, as some people have already shared today. They get me worried about what's going to happen tomorrow, or the next day, or the next year, or the years, or when I'm not here anymore. For example, there is a protest going on in the other side of the world by a group of people, peaceful protesters who do not want their park to get destroyed by a government who is choosing to destroy that place to build a mall. What started as a peaceful protest became violent warfare. Police shooting rubber bullets at people in a park reading, throwing tear gas, killing people. It's hard to realize that those things exist, especially when they're not covered as often as they should be. And sometimes when thinking about these things, we wonder, well, these are societal problems. These are problems way too big for me. What can I do about this? Is there anything I could do about this? Can I affect that? Can I do something about that? I don't know. Sometimes we like to place blame on society, on these societal structures, on people in charge. Well, they had to be raised by someone, right? They had to be taught. They had to be brought up. They had to be affected by other people, right? They pass by us on a daily basis, these people who eventually become in power, right? They may be just like us. They had someone help them along the way. These are the people that surround you. What are we teaching the people that surround us through our stories? 5 years I've spent at Western, and almost each year there's been a tragedy. A tragedy that brings our community together through demonstrations of love. We come together. And one year, I asked my supervisor, Matt, this is really great. It's great that we're reaching out for other people, that we're demonstrating love. But why do we wait? Why do we wait for tragedy to occur? If we acted before that tragedy occurred, maybe the tragedy wouldn't occur in the first place. And this sparked a conversation that has stuck with me for the rest of my life. Why do we not act? Why do we wait? I remember in elementary school, we didn't wait as kids. We had a very simplistic moral system. Good, bad, very easy. I remember second grade, my PE teacher, before I go into that story, I love him, he's great. My PE teacher, second grade, taking attendance, he knows me and my family, looks at me, calls me Stump. Oh, and Stump stuck, because I was not growing up as fast as I was growing out, and I wobbled like a fat kid because I loved so much cake and candies and chocolates. I mean, I already told you where my mind was at all the time. And not only that, but I had these glasses that just seemed like huge magnifying glasses that just looked like this all the time. And I hated wood chips because wood chips was where I got beat up all the time. And no matter how hard I tried to clean myself off of them, I always missed the spot. My parents always asked me, why are you coming home so dirty? It's not like I was rolling around in the dirt on purpose. I remember one day, this girl named Rosie helped me. And I could finally see colors because of my glasses that I had gained. And she was red freckles, red hair. One day, she had 2 red sticks of dynamite. She blew up at these bullies and saved me, took me out of the wood chips, brushed me off the places that I missed. She acted upon what she thought was right. Why don't we do that more often? When we see something, why don't we act upon that inner oomph to act, to do something? Maybe then we could avoid such tragedies. In 2008, I found myself once again bullied and beat up, hurting. Therefore, I was hurting others. I'm not a perfect person. I have hurt so many people because my hurt came from somewhere else. And I was just trying to let it out. My father always told me, you need to find other places besides rugby to let these things out. You can't depend on contact sports all the time. You have to find something. So I found writing. And writing, it started out as just written rants, but eventually it became poetry. Poetry where I could think about all my experiences, all my interactions, and eventually, hopefully, craft them into lessons that I have learned from these things. And sometimes poems, I don't always get lessons out of them. For example, a story that I'm still trying to figure out. I was at a bar one night, waiting outside of it for my friends to show up because we were going to celebrate a birthday. And I was not in the best place mentally, emotionally for this. And I was leaning against a brick wall, falling apart. Head down, I observed the grimy, gum-infested concrete pavement, which you never realize how gum-infested it is until you actually look down at it and observe it. And at looking down at it, I also stared at my shoes, scuffed and smeared. My mom always tells me, why don't you clean your shoes? To her, shoes shows a status. In my family, we come from a status that we don't want to look at like that status. We want to fit in. Clean your shoes, mijo. My sister, she was trying to give me tips as to how to date. She said, the first thing they notice is your shoes. Because if you don't have clean shoes, that means not only can you not take care of yourself, you can't take care of nobody else. I wanted them to understand that some days, I want my shoes to reflect how I feel. So looking down that night, seeing them, I was like, yeah, that's just about right. This man walked by, bald man, thick-brimmed glasses. He walks by me, and he goes, he takes a couple steps back, and he really looks at me. And with a smile curved to the sky, he says, hey, everything's going to be okay. And then stamps a smirk on his face like a seal of assurance. And then is on his way. And sometimes we want to feel our pain. We want to recognize our pain because we're often taught not to recognize our emotions, not to be allowed to be in them, because if we're in them, we show weakness. If we're in them, we're emotional. And if we're emotional, we're weak. We're not together. We're not strong. That day, I wanted to roll around in my emotions and know it's going to be okay message is going to make me feel better. But I took something else away from that interaction, a lesson. A lesson that I am still trying to learn from. So through written reflection, I pulled out a lesson from that interaction, the power to affect someone through recognition, through stepping outside of yourself, recognition of people with a pulse, like books with stories that should be treated carefully. Poetry is a great way to explore stories, to empower, to learn, to teach what you're going through, to recognize not only yourself, but others. But poetry should not be the only place for this. It should be embedded within us, within everything that we do. You know that feeling when you learn something, and in the back of your mind, it like clicks, and you go, ah, I got it. Like math. Math. Well, what if we started looking at people as potential aha moments, and we could learn from them, just like we learn from books, just like we learn from other people's stories? It takes 3 things to accomplish this. 1, curiosity. 2, consciousness. 3, a willingness to learn. Learn in all sense of the word, to be challenged, to be poked, but to be supported as well. We have the power to make beautiful things happen through connection, a simple hello, as many of the speakers have said today. I hope these stories back what they're saying, and I hope you listen to them, because these are books that are choosing to open up before your very eyes and demonstrating the chapters that are upon their arms, like mine. Thank them, recognize them. Because you never know how a simple smirk from a bald-brimmed man walking by a bar one night, or how a newly born kid can save someone's life like he has mine. So, although we are getting older, let us never forget how we feel when we learn something for the first time, how we feel when we turn sheets into roofs, furniture into walls, pillows into landscapes, build forts. How we feel when we turn something ordinary into something else. Like how we turn trees into space stations. The higher we climb, the closer we get to the heavens. I've reached for the moon from the tallest branch and fell hard and discovered gravity the hard way. I guess I wasn't as weightless as the astronauts, but hey, I've moonwalked my way across way too many hard grounds to know you could still look pretty cool while going backwards. And though we may not be busting moves among the cosmos, we've still made the most out of our situations. We grew tired of waiting for explosions in the sky, so we said, forget this, and caught stars within mason jars to have as many wishes as we please, because even as adults, we still feel the need to believe in something. I learned from a movie, we all die twice. Once, when the last breath leaves our throat, and once, when the last person we know speaks our name. Are you going to allow your name to be uttered a final time, or are you going to be infinitely remembered for the lessons you left behind, growing in the minds of your little ones? My name is so much more than it is. I've learned so many lessons from my father, Baltasar Espinoza-Gonzalez, my mother, Dora Elena Espinoza-Gonzalez, my sister, Brenda Elizabeth Espinoza-Gonzalez, my dog, Blue Espinoza-Gonzalez, my nephew, Pedro Baltasar Martinez Espinoza. My name embodies all of them. I am Dani Espinoza-Gonzalez. What's your name? Thank you.